Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon, and I'm not here with Geeky Sparkles, so you can go ahead and shut the video off right now. No, it's just me today. I'm going to talk about IDW Publishing, dip in on this situation. IDW has gone from bad to worse. It seems the rumor is that they're going to be losing their Hasbro licenses, G.I. Joe and Transformers and My Little Pony. These are the brands that really were sort of the backbone of IDW for many years. And it's interesting to see all of these companies pulling out of IDW. It looks like IDW is going to lose everything before it's all said and done. I don't know what the company is even going to be when the dust clears. This is a company that has been in financial trouble for years. They've been losing money for years. Reportedly, they lost the Disney licenses. They had Marvel and Disney and some Star Wars stuff over there, and those books are going to Dark Horse. And it does appear that IDW is going to also lose Transformers and G.I. Joe and My Little Pony and everything associated with Hasbro. Could those be going to Dark Horse as well? I don't know. We're going to talk about this. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. Over 243,000 subs. Thank you so much for the support. It is greatly appreciated. We do talk about comics, having worked in and around the comic book industry for a number of years. And I actually did do some work for IDW back in the day. Now, it's been 6 or so years, I think, since I've done anything for IDW, but I did work on some of their Disney comics. And again, disclaimer, and I've said this before in IDW videos because people are like, you know, you're actively rooting for IDW to fail. And I'm not. The work I did at IDW, I enjoyed working with the people I worked with. None of those people are there anymore, as far as I know. The only problem I ever had with IDW was getting paid. It took me months to get paid, but they did pay. I can't say that they didn't pay, but, in retrospect, hindsight is 2020. And I have to wonder if they were having financial problems even back then. I'm talking 2014, 2015, because it did seem like it was difficult to get them to pay sometimes. Fast forward to 2021, and IDW is just bleeding money. And of course, most of the people who made IDW, as we know it today, are gone. They left one way or the other. They either got pushed out or they left on their own. And it would appear that the pandemic has sped up the decline of IDW in some regards. Now, what was really interesting and what sort of signaled that the beginning of the end was near for IDW was they shuttered their tabletop game division. And IDW has been making money on tabletop games. They've actually released a lot of games through Kickstarter, through the direct market, and a lot of those games have done very, very well. And, when you're shutting down a profitable division to focus more on IP development, which is what seems to be going on, it's not a good sign. The new publisher of IDW, Nashi Marsham. I'm not familiar with him. I guess he came from Disney. I've never worked with them before, so I don't know. But he said that they're looking for more creator-owned projects. This is a complete 180 from where IDW was 10 years ago, 8 years ago, because I remember, at the time, lots of creators, ourselves included, pitching IDW creator-owned books, and we were told that they weren't interested in any creator-owned properties, that they had their licensed comics, and that they were kind of chasing movie deals even back then and ramping up the board games. And, they had bigger fish like Marvel, like Star Wars, and they've lost those. And now apparently they are also losing Transformers, G.I. Joe, My Little Pony. This shouldn't surprise anybody who's been paying attention, because if you remember a few years ago, there was a huge, we're talking about comic books, the American comic book industry. So huge is subjective. But there was a kerfuffle, some outrage over one of the writers on G.I. Joe, Aubrey Sitterson, who, said some stuff on Twitter he probably shouldn't have said. A lot of people have said some stuff on Twitter they probably shouldn't have said. And there was some outrage from some G.I. Joe fans who felt he should be terminated from the book. People didn't like his handling of some of the characters. He was, race swapping and gender bending G.I. Joe characters. And apparently, and I can't verify this, he was kind of trolling G.I. Joe fans in the forums. Now since then, I will say, Aubrey Sitterson seems like he's sort of done an about face, and he's actually said that, I think he's gone on record as saying that, you really need to be careful what you tweet because it does have long-term repercussions for your career. And that's everybody. I don't care what your political leanings are. I think, everybody can damage their careers by tweeting stupid shit, especially about sensitive issues. And sometimes it's probably better just to keep your mouth shut. Even if you've got strong opinions about things, it depends on what you're doing. I mean, if you're insulated and you're self-employed, you can probably say whatever the hell you want to say, right? But just realize that, you go out to Twitter, it's not a private email, it's not a private DM, it's the world is watching, and there are a lot of people out there with malicious intent that are waiting for people to basically fuck up so they can get some satisfaction out of canceling them. So you really got to be careful. And I think Sitterson, as I understand it, has learned a lesson. He's out there doing projects about wrestlers or something on Kickstarter. I don't know. Anyway, that was years ago. I was actually surprised that they didn't lose a license sooner than that. But it could be because they had a multi-year deal with Hasbro. And, again, as far as licensed comics go, Transformers really put them on the map. And I actually tried out for that. I did. And I got close. But they wanted a less detailed art style. I was actually trying out for Dreamwave at the time, and my stuff, I guess, was too detailed for them. I don't know. Anyway. Bleeding Cool broke the news. We're going to talk about this. Here it is on the TFW 2005 boards. Very long-running Transformers fan forum. Coming to us via Bleeding Cool is an unexpected rumor about the future of IDW's Transformers license. The site, which was recently correct in reporting IDW's loss of some Marvel and G.I. Joe lines earlier in the year, reports that word had broken at San Diego 2021 that IDW will be losing the license not only for Transformers, but also G.I. Joe. Probably My Little Pony and probably everything else Hasbro. Visionaries and Mask and all that other stuff. Over the weekend at San Diego Comic-Con 2021 Special Edition, there was plenty of talk about the state of the comic book industry as it stands. This is Rich Johnston, as well as the many moves that have been happening as of late and will be happening in the very near future. And as big publishers chose not to attend the show, it meant that there was much less management of the information that flowed. One such nugget was the news that IDW Publishing, based just up the road in San Diego, is to lose their license to produce comic books based on the Transformers franchise from Hasbro. Not surprising. And frankly, the sales of their books haven't been great. And IDW's a dumpster fire right now. I mean, they're losing money like crazy. And when Disney pulls out, Hasbro's got to be looking at that too. Like, well, shit. Disney doesn't have any faith in them. Why should we? And Dark Horse is looking pretty good right now. I mean, I don't know if the books are going to go to Dark Horse. I don't even know what Dark Horse Transformers comics would look like. But, Dark Horse is publishing Star Wars comics again after a many-year hiatus. So who knows? Back in August, Bleeding Cool broke the news that IDW was losing the Marvel Action Kids line of titles and the Star Wars All Ages line, which IDW did not reply to, but that Dark Horse Comics claimed last month. IDW did not respond to inquiries made earlier today on this or a number of related stories. If true, there's also no date as to when this may occur, but on current form, I would expect the summer of 2022. Again, we stress it should be taken as a rumor until official word is received. Until then, you can sound off with your thoughts. Yeah, I think it's probably true. Now, here's the thing. A lot of people don't like Rich Johnston because he is an ambulance chaser. He is a muckraker. He seems to get off on causing chaos. But you can't deny that the guy usually does have an inside scoop on what's going on. I mean, he's been reporting, on comics for various websites for a good number of years. And he has a lot of connections, and people, they do these parties, they get drunk, they talk. And IDW is not in a good place right now at all. So it would not surprise me at all if this is going to happen. And I don't think it's directly tied to the Aubrey Sitterson situation. I think if they were going to cut ties, it would have happened back then. There was a whole rumor going down that, Hasbro almost pulled the plug in 2017, but then they re-upped because where else are they going to go? But it's not just Transformers. It's also G.I. Joe. He said he didn't hear about My Little Pony. I would say it's going to be all of Hasbro. I can't imagine that they would pull G.I. Joe and Transformers and keep My Little Pony over there. That seems kind of stupid. I think Hasbro probably just wants to job everything out to one company and say, here you go. He goes on to say, ever since the Dreamwave Comics debacle with the Transformers license, which left Hasbro owing millions of dollars, Hasbro has been especially careful as to where their licenses go. So, and their licensed books aren't doing that great these days. They really aren't. Here are last week's current upcoming G.I. Joe listings. Some of the G.I. Joe books, I know the one Scarlet book sold like 3,000 copies or something. And, it wouldn't surprise me if Hasbro's even like, let's just do manga. Why don't we just do manga? I actually bought the hardcover of the Transformers, I think it was Headmasters manga. I have to read that yet, but they're really nice volumes. I'd rather read something like that personally. But I think the end is near. I do. Now, this is coming from Jude Terror. He's got some advice for whoever gets the G.I. Joe license after IDW. And he says, this week, Bleeding Cool rumor monger in chief Rich Johnston broke the news. IDW is set to lose the Transformers and G.I. Joe comics licenses from Hasbro, probably sometime in 2022. The news has been met with skepticism, mainly from robo-bronies, who simply don't want to believe the rumor, who must have spent the past 48 hours on Twitter posting things like, Bleeding Cool didn't cite any sources, so this must be bullshit. No. I think it tracks. I do. I personally think it tracks. It's always amusing to see how years of sycophantic access journalism has skewed the public perception of how reporting works, as if without an official press release or PR statement from a company, news must be totally made up. Thank you. Thank you, Jude Terror. So when we report on rumors over here at Clownfish TV and we know our sources and we trust our sources, we're not just pulling stuff out of our ass. So at least we can agree on that, right? So say what you will about Rich, and I've said plenty, he's arrogant, self-aggrandizing, looks funny, smells bad, talks with a stupid accent, has no sense of shame, and would sell out his own mother for a story, but he doesn't just make up rumors out of thin air. Neither do we. People don't like us, but we don't pull stuff out of our ass, and we do disclaim rumors as being rumors. And sometimes we can somewhat verify, and sometimes we can't. If he isn't citing a source, that's not an indication that the source doesn't exist. True. It's an indication that the source is being protected as sources should be. True. That's how reporting works when you're not just regurgitating press releases and company PR statements in exchange for access to said press releases and company PR statements. Very true. We're actually blacklisted from several companies. They don't send us their press releases. We have to get the news from like comicbook.com or something. I believe him. I believe him. I believe him in this case. And anyway, Terror goes on to say that whoever gets the license should definitely bring in Larry Hama, which I agree. I do agree. I am leaning toward Dark Horse because it seems like they've become this vacuum for IP, but who the hell knows? Yeah, I think it's true. I think it's going to happen, and I think IDW is completely and totally fucked. I think they're done. They're done. I don't know how they're going to come back from this. When you're losing all of your licenses and you shut down your board game division and your Netflix pitches aren't really going anywhere, when do you pack it in? It feels like they're winding down. I'm going to wrap this one up. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. We'll talk later.